Hello and welcome to a very English craft room and another in the scrapbooking series. Today I'm going to be scrapping a picture of my daughter in her wedding dress as we were doing the final fitting for it. This is a part of Scrap Squad's 12 Days of Spring Scrap Lift, Day 7. So I'm just using one photograph of the very back top of her dress and some wedding related embellishments. So, although the plan was that I would make her wedding dress as well as the bridesmaids' dresses, in the end she fell in love with one that we saw in a shop, and it was much cheaper than I could have made it for, so we bought it, and I just did the final fitting on the dress for her and did the alterations. So just pulling together a few bits and pieces to see what might go well with this photograph. So I'm trying to use a limited palette here, just because I wanted to keep it sort of fairly soft and gentle. So using mainly creams and a little bit of white, and I think I used a tiny bit of pink in the embellishments as well. So I've cut two smaller rectangles of this paper with butterflies on, just to reflect what was on the original sketch from the Scrap Squad's challenge there. So I'm just going through these wedding related embellishments here, die cuts that I had purchased online a number of months ago with the idea of doing some of the photographs for my daughter's wedding. So you can see there's sort of some pinks there, and creams and some greys. Her wedding theme colours was not pink. She had purple and a wine colour and green. However, for this photograph I thought the pinks actually went quite nice with it. So you can see there's some flowers there in the same colours as her bridesmaids' dresses and the themes for the wedding. Well, actually the themes for the wedding was autumnal colours, so there was quite a lot of different colours there in the decorations of the church and of the reception. So I'm just trying to see whether I can use this tissue paper that's gold with white hearts on. In the end I don't use it. I do use the doily that's there, the rectangular doily that's there behind the photograph, again as that was fairly similar to something that was in the original sketch. So I just decided I needed a little bit of a border around that photograph before it was onto the doily. And I think that's where I've been trying to use the gold tissue that before and didn't like it. So now I'm actually using some pink flowered wedding related paper that came with the kit that I bought a while ago. So there you can see I've actually changed out the butterfly paper that I had before and actually made the two tag shapes there in the same paper as I used to mat the photograph on. I chose these alpha stickers because they are like little pink flowers and leaves for the words final fitting. I'm not sure I'm actually really 100% happy with them, but that's how I leave it anyway. I did try multiple other alphas and really couldn't find anything I was particularly happy with. Sometimes it's difficult to find what you really want and it just doesn't gel for you. So I'm just cutting that embellishment in half because I wanted to tuck it in behind the photograph, so it meant I had two little bits that I could tuck behind rather than wasting some of it being hidden. Even though I have boxes and boxes of embellishments, I still don't like to waste anything, so I don't like things being hidden behind something else unless I can cut it and make use of it later on, or indeed somewhere else in the same layout. So you can see here I'm using the little dental tool just to lift the edges of the matting of the photographs and to be able to tuck the little die cuts behind, and actually I did use it again to remove the little die cut from where it was and move it around. It was a layout I had some difficulty with really in trying to get things where I wanted. Although it's actually quite a simple layout in the end, it took a lot of doing and it didn't sit quite naturally with me, this one. Sometimes it's hard because you try and stick too closely to the original sketch for some of these scrap lift challenges, and actually really they should be used just as a starting point for your own creativity, and I think that's a lesson I've learned recently. Other people's layouts and sketches can be a great starting point and give you some inspiration, But really you shouldn't try to be too much of a slave to them. You should let your own individuality shine through. So starting to build up the embellishment clusters, as you can see there. I really did like this doily on this layout because actually the edge of it matched the lace on the back of my daughter's wedding dress really well. My daughter got married in late October, and although we could have had quite bad weather for it, she actually had a beautiful day in terms of weather, and it meant we could have some lovely photographs too. I have a couple of albums on the go for her wedding. The idea originally was that the 8x8 would be for the before wedding preparations and the 12x12 would be for the actual wedding itself. However, I seem to have mixed it up a little bit, and now this one, which is really a wedding preparation page, is actually on 12x12. So you can see here I'm using my Xyron sticker maker to apply adhesive to the back of some of these embellishments. Some of them were too large to go through there, so I did end up using glue and double-sided tape on those. But you can see here I've got a nice long sort of ribbon of flowers and leaves that are now sticky on the back, and that makes it really easy then to apply them onto the scrapbooking page. Although the papers on this page and the embellishments came from several different collections, they actually do go really quite nicely together. So you see here on this larger one I've used a bit of tape, and I'm just using the dental tool there to peel the tape off the backing off the double-sided tape. So the embellishments are nearly done now, if not completely done, and now I'm going to pop down the title, which, like I say, I'm not really 100% happy with, but I couldn't think of anything better and couldn't actually find any better letters for this. I apologise if you can hear any background noises. A couple of doors down from here they're having their driveway repaved and some concrete put down, and it's making a little bit of noise in the background. I'm not really sure if it's going to pick it up on this microphone or not. So I'm popping down the title of Final Fitting in these little floral alphas. I do fiddle around with it a little bit, and I'm using the T-square there just to try and get them nice and straight on the page, as I usually do. Unless, of course, I want them to be higgledy-piggledy or at a particular jaunty angle. To start with, I wasn't really sure about journaling on here, whether I just wanted to write something on the background or try and put something on the tags. I didn't really want to cover up too much of that sort of floral paper on the tags, and I didn't want to leave it without any journaling, but I also didn't want to put too much there. So what I'm actually going to do is write some out on some strips and stick those strips on top of the lower of the two tags there, and I will ink the edges of all the little strips, which takes time and also can make your fingers a little bit messy when you're doing it. So using the T-square there again, just to try and make my writing straight across there. Really what I could have done really was to cut the strips of paper first and written onto them. Then I would have made sure I'd got the strips of paper sort of equal in size. But I think I do a reasonable job of it, and I put each individual word on its own little block of paper when it's finished. So using a steel-edged ruler and a rotor cutter there just to cut the strips, and I will run those through the Xyron sticker maker in all likelihood to make the back of them sticky. So you can see here I'm edging all of it with some ink there. Unfortunately that's a little bit off camera. I apologise for that. It's something I must remember when I'm doing this, to actually try and hold that under the camera a bit better. So sticking it down on the little tab, as you can see there, just a little close up to show you what I'm doing. I actually do think that paper and the flowers are really rather pretty, and maybe the title and the font are actually growing on me a little bit more. So one last finishing touch, just putting October 2017, because that's when the wedding was, on the top tab there. So now this layout's finished, I hope you've enjoyed this video and like my layout. If you have, could you please click on the like and subscribe buttons, and I would like to thank you for joining me here in a very English craft room, and hope that I can welcome you back very soon.